Have you ever worked so hard for something, built it, achieved it, reached the milestone, and then felt almost nothing? Maybe it was a quick high, maybe a relief, maybe a moment of pride. And then the same restlessness returned. The same pressure, the same emptiness, the same feeling that something was still missing. If that's you, stay with me, because today we're talking about why success can feel empty and what actually creates fulfillment. Hello, and welcome to the Aligned Human Project. I'm your host, Dawn Elgin, contrarian soul guide, founder of Practical Spiritualism, and the creator of Field and Form, the 12 laws of co-creation. And here we don't just talk about achievement. We talk about what it takes to feel alive inside your life. So let's start here. Success and fulfillment are not the same thing. Success is often external, a title, income, recognition, growth, the house, the relationship, the 2.5 kids, the goal. But fulfillment is internal. It's meaning, peace, connection, wholeness, alignment, inner congruence. And many people spend years chasing external success, hoping it will create an internal state. And sometimes it does for a moment, but it rarely sustains if the inside has been neglected. Let me take you back a bit. You see, about 20 years ago, I had moved up to the city that I live in now. And at that time, I was a bankrupt single mom. I was really lucky. I had incredible bosses that saw something in me that I did not see in myself. I had lost all feelings of confidence, and I wasn't sure what to do. They gave me some chances, and they were phenomenal, not only on helping me feel a greater sense of self-esteem, of self-worth, but in supporting me, in kind of showing me bit by bit what I could become. They were true leaders. So I moved up here to create a lighting showroom. And I was in lighting and design up until 10 years ago, up until 9 years ago, when a injury would change my life. So we're going back 20 years ago, and for 10 years, I really strived. I had great bosses. I really wanted to show them how grateful I was that they had believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. I really wanted to show them appreciation for everything that they'd given me. And I was a hard worker. I worked crazy long hours, and I didn't mind it. I felt quite fulfilled. It gave me a high to achieve these things, to be successful, to be all the things I'd been told by others that I could never be. It was an opportunity to gain a lot of my self-worth back and to find a place in this world. But what became really interesting was about 10 years ago, I was at a peak of my time at that time. I was making more money than I'd ever dreamed of making. I had a beautiful house. By now, I had an incredible partner who had become my husband. We had 2 kids, the dog, the trips, everything from the outside looked great. My bosses hadn't changed. They were still awesome people. But I stopped feeling fulfilled. All of a sudden, I'm at this place where I'm trying to find some stability within the business. I'm recognizing that I work too much and I need to back off the hours and start giving some of it to the family. And I'm trying to figure it all out. And there's this place of you feel like you're in this tug of war. Not only a tug of war between the business and the outside achievements, as well as the tug of war with the family of giving them the time and the attention that they deserve. After all, you chose to have them. So there's this tug of war happening out here, but there's also this interesting war that started to happen in here. See, all of a sudden I started to recognize I wasn't actually feeling fulfilled. I had kind of stopped getting the rush out of the runner's high, so to speak. In my case, it was the runner's high of building business. And all of a sudden, I started to ask, what is my truth? Here I had all this material success. I also had a lot of emotional success. I had great husband, I had great friends, but I still wasn't feeling fulfilled. I had done a lot of self-work, a lot of exploration to figure out who am I? And I had learned how to really like her. But now we were moving into a new phase and I didn't know what to do with that. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, that I had all of this that I was told I was supposed to want, that was supposed to give me fulfillment, and I wasn't feeling fulfilled. And in truth, I wasn't really happy. I was working, I was performing, but I wasn't fulfilled. It was this awareness that success is often a moving target. And the next goal is like another drug, and we start chasing it. But once we get there, it's like, okay, now what? And we can't just sit in a place of appreciation. There's not fulfillment. And part of that is we have to ask, what is the purpose behind it? See, you can achieve what you wanted and still abandon yourself in the process. Now, this is where psychology helps us. The brain adapts quickly to external gains. What once felt exciting becomes normal. This is part of why milestones can create only a temporary high. The nervous system also matters. And if your body is living in chronic stress, which mine was, it may not fully register safety, satisfaction, or enoughness. So someone can create success externally while internally feeling urgency, emptiness, or threat. Not because success failed, because the system receiving it is dysregulated. And this is where field and form changes everything. Most people are trying to create fulfillment through form. They say things like, when I hit that number, or when I get the role, when they choose me, when the business grows, when I prove myself, and when I feel whole. But form cannot consistently give what the field does not know how to hold. So if the inner field is pressure, scarcity, not enoughness, fear, disconnection, then even beautiful results can feel empty. You see, remember at the beginning, 20 years ago, I'd been bankrupt. And so I was pushing hard. I had learned how to strive. I had learned how to perform. But when abundance is received through scarcity, it still feels unstable. So no matter how nice the house was, no matter how great the vacations were, no matter what I was achieving, there was still a feeling of lack. There was still a feeling of it could all be taken away. It's like that old adage, life's going so damn good, something's got to give. And the same thing happens when it comes to emotions. If we experience love, but through a sense of unworthiness, it's hard for us to trust. We have a dichotomy. We can be putting out all the things. I want to be abundant. I want to have a healthy relationship. But if inside I'm having experiences of not lovable, of unworthiness, of lack, of scarcity, then those two energies are like opposing forces. And something's not going to work. We can have all of this out here, but we've built the house on sand. The ground's not stable. And the truth is that I had to learn was that achievement through burnout tastes different. The form arrives through the state that can create it. So what are people actually seeking? Most people do not actually want the goal. They want what they believe the goal will give them. And it was hard for me to swallow. peace, freedom, security, joy, meaning, belonging, aliveness. And this is not bad. It's just human. But when we outsource those states entirely to futures conditioned, we stay hungry because the nervous system learns, I'll be okay later. And later keeps moving. Ancient Taoist wisdom understood that imbalance shows up differently in different people. Some chase more because they're driven by pressure and striving. Some over caretake and lose themselves in service. Some freeze in fear and doubt. Some stay scattered and overstimulated. Different patterns, same root issue. It's disconnection from our own inner harmony. No matter your pattern, the path is not more force, it's more return. Over the years, I have looked for a deeper understanding of myself and a deeper understanding of other people. I like to understand, what is it that we are supposed to be doing here? What is the purpose of humanity? In my searching, I came across the 5 elements, and the 5 elements are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And in ancient Taoist times, this is actually what is the foundation of everything. And so they understood that the 5 elements come from source, spirit, from God, whatever you want to call it. And these energies are what it uses to create. And it's in everything. It's in every one of us. And they have different aspects, different characteristics. And so they correlate to different seasons. They correlate to different movements. They correlate to different behavior types. They correlate to different stress responses, as well as different virtues. And so understanding this, you can think of it as the oldest psychology. And now when we take a look at psychoneuroimmunology, is totally in alignment and proves what the ancient Taoists and Taoist science knew by watching nature and understanding these 5 elements and how they move. And so of the 5 elements, there's behavior types. And wood types, which are linked to spring, are all about expansion, all about new ideas, planting seeds, and think visionaries, driving, expanding energy. And so I'm a wood element. That's my primary element, and it's quite dominant. We have all 5 elements, and they'll change different percentages in every single person. And depending what our secondary is and the other percentages, helps create all of our unique behaviors, all of our unique experiences and personalities. Now, your dominant element is settled in as a combination of nature and nurture. So who your parents were, coming through them, as well as those first 7 to 8 years of your life. All of it sits and completely agreed with everything we understand with human behavior. So all of these elements have different driving forces, and there's different behavior types that link with them. So a wood type will drive relentlessly. They'll keep going and going and going. Think of the roots of a tree moving around rock through earth, constant expansion and growing. Whereas the fire element will go into a state of chasing stimulation, the next big high. What's fun? What can we get gritty with? And then the earth type will tend to drive or go into the stress response of overgiving, over nurturing to the point of depletion. Whereas a metal type tends to drive into perfectionism, into trying to control, and then we have grief and sorrow from it. And the water element, the water type, well, its stress response is fear, fearing the leap, fear of not having enough energy to get all the way through it. So wood is all about anger, frustration, irritation, and it needs to move towards forgiveness and patience. Whereas the fire element is joy, tends to be overstimulation, and it also goes into panic. So think panic and overjoy. So a little on the manic when we get overstressed. The earth element is, like I said, the nurturer, and it's worry and overwhelm. And if it's really depleted, it can also go into self-absorption, where it needs to be supported itself and it can't see other people's needs. And its journey is to come over to being centered, to being, a state of centered and calm giving. Whereas the metal element, so linked with that autumn, is all about grief and loss. So think of the leaves of the trees letting go. And it's about refinement. And so therefore the virtues, or the way we move here, is to come into acceptance and appreciation. And then finally we have that water element. So the stress response is fear, really a fear of being seen. And so often it'll show in different masks. And its journey, because in that fear is mistrust, is to get all the way over to trust and faith. So when we understand our elements, when we understand our behaviors, what drives us, and what it is that would truly fulfill us, where we can get that desire, our deepest desires met, then we can move forward with ease and peace. And the key here is the strategy for each of these elements might differ, but the medicine is always about alignment. So let me ask you this. If you got everything you're chasing, but you still felt like you, would it be enough? And if not, what are you truly hungry for? Let's go ahead and make this real. Take a pause, start to notice your breath again, and bring awareness to your body and its sensations. Take another breath. Feel your body right now. Notice how it expands. And ask yourself, what am I chasing, hoping it will make me feel success, approval, money, recognition, love? Now go even deeper. What is the feeling underneath that? Is it peace, safety, freedom, joy, worth? Now ask, how can I practice a small piece of that state today before the result arrives? And then just listen. Success is not wrong. Ambition is not wrong. Creating beautiful things is not wrong. But if you ask achievement to give you an identity or a piece you have not practiced internally, it will always feel incomplete. Fulfillment grows when your outer life and your inner field begin to match. That changes the field. And when the field changes, the form follows. And if this resonates, this is the work we do inside Align Your Life, inside the Aligned Human Project, and inside Alignment Operating System, helping people create success that does not cost them themselves, helping leaders build results rooted in wholeness, helping humans come home while they rise. If you're here to build a life that doesn't cost you your nervous system, to lead, love, and create from alignment instead of exhaustion, you're in the right place. This is Practical Spiritualism. This is the Aligned Human Project. And this is where we stop chasing life and start creating it consciously. Because alignment isn't something you achieve. It's something you practice. So keep pausing, keep feeling, and keep choosing. And remember, you are the witness. You shape the field, and the field shapes your life.